I'm Marty, and today I'm going to take you through my founding principles on how to create a high-performing team. These will work whatever industry you're in. There's only 3 principles that we're going to look at, and it's going to help you leverage your most expensive asset rather than just insure against it. Most businesses have labor as their highest expense, yet there's very, very minimal effort and minimal impact put into that and to getting the most out of that. So kudos to you for tuning in. Stick with me for the next 30 minutes and I'm going to show you some ways that you can maximize the productivity of your team and get some really beneficial outcomes for your business so that your stress levels are going to go down, the team's productivity is going to go up, and you're going to be working in a place that everybody wants to come to work and enjoys getting along and has a productive output. So sit back, tune in, grab your notepad, and let's go make it happen. All right, so we're talking about team. The most expensive thing on pretty much everybody's P&L is your staff expenses. Yet it gets some of the least attention, it gets taken for granted the most. The availability of improvement in your business through getting your staff on board and getting your teams working together is astronomical. Literally astronomical. The difference between doing a good job and a great job is the people that you have. The difference between your business being a pleasure to come to and an enjoyable place to work and a miserable place that people can't wait to get out of is the people. So let's look at the first piece on how do you get them on board. The first thing is that you have to get everybody to understand what we're here for. Why are we here? What are we trying to do? So there's 3 key pieces to this. We've got customer. Do this one in. This is personal. Internal. So when you're talking about crafting a destination for your team, why are people here? What are we all trying to do? You're coming in to work for my business. This is what I'm going to talk to you about so that, and I'm actually probably going to talk to you about this in an interview process so that I can qualify whether you're actually a good fit for this or not. But what you want to do is you have in here, and I'm not going to go back and forth and change that, so everything else is going to be in blue. But in here, there are things that you are trying to achieve for your customer. A fantastic experience, a value for money. You want them to get through on time. Equality. There's a whole bunch of things that you are trying to do here for your customers. These are what I call external or outward facing goals. These are your objectives that you are trying to achieve for every customer who comes into your business. If you're a dental practitioner, for example, you want to make sure that when people come in, they feel safe, they feel welcome, they're not worried, they're scared, that they're not scared. You want to make that experience as fun for them as it can be. You want to have the facilities that you need for them to be able to get their rebate straight away. These are all the external things that you're trying to create in a every step of the way customer. Now, I might work in the promotional department, somebody else is the dentist, and somebody else is the receptionist. All 3 of us have same goals here. If we're continuing on with the dentist, then part of this is safety. How safe are you? Huge thing for all businesses, making sure that our customers are safe and we're not putting them in danger. Once upon a time, I used to run an indoor skydiving tunnel. Safety was our #1 objective for our customers. In a place that is built around fun, safety is #1 because if people get injured, not very much fun. So, what are those, and define these, get some buy-in from your staff. What are the things that you are trying to do for your customers? Because if you're a receptionist, you're going to have different ideas about what you're trying to do than if you're the dentist. Everybody's got different ideas, and you should be ideally able to boil this into sort of 3 to 7 kind of points about what you're collectively, as an entire organization, what are you collectively trying to do for your customers? The next piece is super critical. They're all super critical because it's like a tripod. If any one of these is missing, it doesn't work. So they're all equally important. But the next piece is your internal expectations. For example, if we work in a dental practice, Part of our external customer expectation is that things are on time. So internally, we want to hold each other to an accountable standard that we're not late, we show up on time, we do the work that we said we would do when we said we would do it. Going back to iFly again, when we looked after iFly, there's 20 half an hour blocks in our busy day. There's actually 24 half an hour blocks in our busiest day. If we're 1 minute late on each of those half an hour blocks, we're 24 minutes late at the end of the day. That's a whole half an hour late. So these little things make up a lot as they compound and they compound and they compound. This is important because whatever the 3, 5, 7 things that you lay out here, honesty, communication, openness, I think one of the critical things that is essential for a team is to be able to communicate both positive and negative things to each other. Things are not always perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. That's okay. The trouble is when we just ignore those mistakes or pretend like they didn't happen because we're too afraid to have a conversation about it. You have to be able to call each other out, not in a negative way, but you have to be able to create an environment where you can openly talk about, this didn't go to plan, this is why. So this is the internal expectations that you hold yourself accountable to. And what's going to happen as a company, it's your job to set this with and for your employees. It's your job to set this with and for your employees. As an individual, as an employee, it's the employee's job to look at this and go, well, I'm somebody who really values time management and I like to be punctual and I like organization, and that piece here about time management, that's really important to me. And I care about safety, and this piece here about keeping our customers safe, that's really important to me. So individually, on a personal level, people can buy in and care about these things that you're trying to deliver to your customers and to each other. If you get all 3 of these things happening, I will bother to change colors for this, because if you get all 3 of these things happening, which is what we're trying for, this nice little space here in the middle, anything is possible in your business. Anything is possible with the right team around you. With the wrong team around you, almost everything is impossible. So making sure that you're setting a clear destination around what are the expectations that we're trying to give our customers. What are the expectations, that you're trying to give your customers? What do your customers want, and what are you delivering for your customers? What are the expectations that you handle and you expect from each other, and how do you keep each other accountable to that? And actually putting some real qualitative and quantitative measures around that, so that you know this is the standards that you're going to hold each other to. And if you have both of those things working really well, you'll attract people who buy into those. And that's the critical part. If you don't get people who buy into them, or you've already got people that don't want to buy into them, or you've hired the wrong person, they got to go. Sad as it may be, but you need people who can buy into this and compromise a little bit of this for a little bit of this, and a little bit of this for a little bit of this, and understand that this may not be 100% of who an individual is, but they can buy into both sides of this. And that's what builds some unity for people. A team isn't a bunch of clones who all do the same thing and think, feel, and believe in the same way. A team is a bunch of individuals who understand the collective that we're trying to achieve, that you're trying to achieve, and are prepared and believe in that enough to put some little personal things aside and really get on board with that. So it's your job, set that real positive standard of, this is what we're trying to achieve for your customers, and this is what you're trying to achieve for each other, and the standards that you hold each other, and then keep people accountable to that, and you'll start to attract the right type of people to have in your business. So that's the first part. Stick with us, I'm going to dive into the second. So the second thing that's really critical for your team to be successful is everybody has to know their role and what they're responsible for. A team isn't built, as I said, it's not built from a bunch of clones. It's a bunch of different people with different skills doing different things that are all working towards a common objective. If people don't understand what that common objective is, then you get silos that are happening and people just care about what they're doing and they're very narrowly focused on that. And that can be partially from a personality side of things, but a lot more times than that, it's just because they don't understand the bigger picture of what they're trying to do. So if you've set a really clear destination and you've got a bit of an idea on this is what's going down and this is what you as a team are trying to collectively achieve, the next piece is to start to look at who plays what position in your team. I have an old football background, so this for me, I always think back to rugby league, but if you think of any team sport, any sporting team has a variety of skills, players, styles, but they all work together and they all complement each other. Your business is going to be the same, and it's about having the right piece for the right fit. You're much, much better off, and it's much more practical to work with the team that you've got and start to say, this is where you're at and this is what I need from you, and this is a way that you can do that. So what you want to do, if you've watched any of my talks previously, you might have seen this because this is a central piece to every business, but this is drawing your operational flow. So every business has a process where we take a customer from a point of view of being unaware, uneducated, unsure about what we do, to from a promotion, and then we take them through this nice little journey and they end up here as a happy customer, and that's exciting for everybody. But what happens in this process is a client might change hands and deal with 2, 3, 4, 10 different people. When they come back to the business next time, they might talk to different people again. So this whole process, everybody needs to be on board about who's doing what and how do these roles interact with each other. So if you can map this out, you can start to look at, okay, well, somebody's job is handling the promotional side of your business and making sure that people are aware of your business, people are interested in it, and that people are actually taking action and interacting with your business, hopefully getting to the point of an inquiry. Now, in some businesses, if a small business, for example, you might have somebody that handles all of this. Somebody does you might be a really small business and you do the whole lot of it yourself. You handle all the promotion, you handle the phone calls when they come in, you sell the products, you then deliver the product or service that you do, and then you go on your way. If you've got multiple people doing this, it's really important to get them all on board and understand that for your business to be successful, your business is going to be successful based on how often, how frequently, and how smoothly you can transition people from one end to the other. If your teamwork is working really well, this is a seamless experience for the customer and everything goes on. As an administrator in the business, if you're the CEO of your business or the director of your business and you're trying to control all of these pieces, your team is a joy to work with and a joy to understand, because everybody knows their role, everybody knows their responsibility, and everybody understands that their piece needs to fit with the next piece. And if this piece doesn't get done, then this doesn't work. And if this doesn't work, then this piece here about delivery, well, that can't work. And if this person here does their job really well, but this person here doesn't do their job really well, then this happy customer isn't such a happy customer. Now, if you're a tradie and you've got a team of people, potentially you've got multiple people doing multiple roles, the smaller the business, primarily I work with businesses between 5 and 30 staff. If you've got between 5 and 30 staff, you're going to have people who wear multiple different hats in this industry. It's okay, in this example, it's okay for people to wear multiple hats. That's not a problem at all. You just got to understand, well, this is the expectation and this is the need that this position needs. this is the expectation and this is the need that this position needs, and so on and so forth all the way through. And if you're somebody who's wearing multiple hats there, you can say, okay, well, which hat do you want to get rid of? What would that take? How could you potentially do that? There's no right or wrong answer with how this process works in your business. I've drawn a hypothetical out there, but it's going to be different if you're a chiropractor. It's going to be different if you're a lawyer. It's going to be different if you've got customers that come back a lot for one-off products or two-off products. If you're an online store, it's going to be different again to a service-based business. The principle remains though, your business has a process for taking customers through, and there are multiple people who help handle that process. Who does what and where do they do it, and what are the outcomes that you need from them? Do they actually very clearly and succinctly know and understand that? A lot of times people don't actually understand how their role fits in with the entire organization. When people get onboarded, stereotypically what I see is that companies or people are very good at bringing an employee on and saying, this is your role. You're our new dentist, you're our new tradesman, this is your role, this is what you do here. This is what we need you to do here. What companies are very bad at is saying, you're our new electrician, you're our new dentist, this is what you do, this is what we're actually trying to do together, and this is how that all fits in, and this is how Timmy or Sally at the front desk work, and this is how the other people work, and this is where everybody fits in and how it works. So if you want to get everybody on board, you need to be able to draw it, you need to be able to show people this is where they fit. It's a great exercise to bring your team together to be able to actually start to map this out. If you've ever seen it in some videos or things like that, grab a deck of post-it notes, start with some key milestones. If you need somebody to facilitate it, I can help with that. But whatever you do, start to map this out. Get some buy-in from your team and get some understanding as to how this happens. You can start to troubleshoot where the problems are and how you can fix them collectively together, and start to create a better experience for your customers and a better experience for everybody in that organization to be able to come to work and enjoy coming to work and having a good time with the understanding of knowing that you're part of something bigger than just yourself. People do genuinely like that for the better part of things. Even people who are some of the most solitary, I'm an individual, people enjoy to be part of something bigger than themselves. Give your team the opportunity to know where they fit in the whole process so that they can start to get that interaction, and your teamwork can begin to improve and improve and improve, and your business is going to follow right on the back of that. So the last piece that I want to talk about with teamwork is guidance, or what I call guidance. If you have a group of people and everybody knows what they're trying to do, everybody's agreed on this is the outcomes that you're trying to get for your customers, and this is the standards that we hold each other accountable to, and they're all bought into that, that's fantastic. Everybody then goes a step deeper and they know this is the role that they play, and everybody understands how their role interacts with all the other roles, so that's a win as well. You need to be able to give people a framework to work within, otherwise they will continually come back to a central point for direction. If I see this happen a lot with people who are excellent technical skills, if you've built your business on the back of being really good at what you do, chances are as you got more and more people, you got 5, 7, 10 people, you got to a point where people kept coming back to you for guidance on, oh, what do I do here? How do I fix this? What happens here? If that's the case, then there's a couple of pieces missing somewhere. People don't understand what they can play within to try and generate that outcome. What you're trying to generate here is a group of people as a team who can all execute their role individually within the best interests of the company. So if you want to do that, people need two pieces to this guidance. If the first thing that I talked about was a tripod, where we were looking at the 3 circles and that's a tripod and everything's independent, this is a yin and a yang. The left hand side of the yin and the yang, is your HR policies and procedures. When I talk about systems and processes, sometimes people confuse this with policies and procedures. Policies and procedures are the HRIR requirements that you have to have as an organization that document and explain to your staff rules, responsibilities, those type of things. When I talk about systems and processes, I'm talking about the operational processes of how do we get from point A to point B, keeping everybody safe on the way, and what are the outcomes that we're trying to achieve. There's a whole different segment on systems and processes. That's something that people get messed up. If you want to tune into that, we'll put a link below for it. But this is the first piece. This is the first side, which is your HR systems processes. If you don't have this, you don't have any leg to stand on. You can't hold people accountable. You don't have anything really to supplement yourself. One of the great shames that I think in Australian business is that the industry has gone so far this way that HR, human resources, should be about how do you maximize the value of your most important asset, which is your staff. That's what it should be about. What it is about, in about 99% of cases, excuse me, what it is about in about 99% of businesses is how do you cover your ass in case anything goes wrong? And it's a real shame, because if that's all you're doing with your HR and your policies and procedures, then you're missing about 99% of the value that you can get out of your staff. So the second piece to the yin and yang is, it's an overused word and it's a massive cliche, but the culture and the expectations that you set for each other. Back at the start, and I'm going to bring all this back together in a minute, but back at the start we talked about setting internal expectations. What are the expectations that your team have for each other? Is it that everybody is on time? Is it that everybody does a really high standard of work because you sell a premium product? So what would be little tolerances or little negligible problems or issues at another agency or job don't fly in your business because your business is a premium quality thing. How have you defined what it is that you talk to each other about? This is where, and this is a really, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with culture, because in its truest form, it's really important and it's essential. It's been bastardized a little bit because of how everybody talks about it and what it is. But it's not about what you write down on paper. It's about what your team lives and breathes every day. It's about the standards that you hold each other accountable to. It's about what you walk past and let slide. Because if your culture is to walk past things and not keep people accountable and not have difficult conversations, but your policies and your procedures and your goals for your culture say something different, then you just got this epic divide, and it's like trying to cross the Great Canyon. It's just nothing good is coming from that. So your culture is about 1% of like writing and defining what those expectations are, and 99%, what are you living and breathing every day in the operations of your business that is exactly how you want your business to run. So this is the last piece of the puzzle. I'm going to do a bit of a recap in a sec, but this is the last piece of the puzzle for you, for your team to get on board and be able to work well together. Think of this like your guide rails. You're trying to tell people, we're in this particular town, which is new customer, and we want to get to the next town, which is hundreds of kilometers away, which is happy customer. And in between, everybody's going to take turns in driving us there. So how do you keep people on the road? How do you set that framework for them so that you don't have to tell everybody, change gears, turn left, go right, whatever it is? People can work independently to take your customers from a new and just first into the business to happy, excited customers, just had a great experience with you, and do that consistently and at volume and at scale, because your ability to do that is the ability to scale your business and how much success you can have. If you have a great team, you can do anything. If you don't have a great team, you can't do anything. So What are you going to do which helps your team and brings your team together and makes happy experiences and fantastic experience for your customers and keeps your business running nice and smoothly? So just want to do a quick wrap up. We've covered quite a lot with team building. There's a PDF that you can download or look at below. It's free. Don't want any emails, nothing like that. I want you to take this and run with it and get your team operational. What I want to do is just do a quick recap. The first thing we talked about is bringing your team together with a clear destination. Looking at what are your customer expectations? What are your expectations for your customers? What are your expectations for each other? How do you define those? And then getting people to buy into those because of who they are as a human being. That's not your job as an owner, a director, or a manager. Your job is to set the expectation on what you're trying to do. It's each individual in your team's job to see that and attach themselves to it for whatever reason is personal to them. Next piece was defining your role, looking at what is the process from a customer creating and attracting customers to customers going through the process, achieving some value, coming out the other end as a happy customer. Who does what along the way and where are the changeover points, making sure that everyone's across not just their role, but the context of how their role fits in with everything else. The last piece that we looked at is your guidance system. How do you have HR systems, policies, procedures to make sure that from a safety point of view, from an insurance point of view, from a liability, all those kind of angles, you're covered, because that's a framework that you use, but that's only as good as the culture that you back that with. If you have all systems, policies, procedures, people won't follow them just because you have a system, policy, and procedure. That's not why people follow them. People follow them because they're engaged in what you're trying to do. So take 5 to soak this in, see where you think your biggest opportunities are, but start to talk to your staff, get them engaged, get some buy-in from them, because I guarantee you, if you're going to achieve the things that you want to do in your business, it's going to need a team of people around you to make that happen. And this is a really practical, really beneficial ways that you can get some impact with them really soon. So get amongst it, and I wish you much success with it. So if you're wondering how you're going to make this happen in your business and apply this to your circumstances, give me a buzz. We can have a chat about it over a coffee or frothy, and we can chat about how to make it work in your business.